Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Jello Corp podcast. This is our first official podcast, and I am so excited to have you here. This is going to be the first of many. We're going to be talking about so many interesting, wonderful topics that not only can propel your career into new heights, but also things that we find interesting and fascinating. I'll be having guests from people in the HR field, people in the recruiting field, people in the telecommunications field, people in the engineering field to educate us on how to get ahead in our professional careers and how to get ahead in our lives. I think that it's absolutely important that knowledge is shared because knowledge is power. Today, I have my first guest, a colleague, a member of the Jello Corp team, Karabo, and we will be discussing CVX. So we're going to break it down into what do recruiters look for when they are looking at CVs, what brightens up their day, and what makes them, upset or not happy. And Karabo's been doing this for a while, haven't you, Karabo? I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Hi, guys. I think Alan has sorted it all. Thank you for the time. I'm actually very pleased to be your first guest. And I'm just hoping, as time goes, we'll get to learn stuff from different people because I believe that when it comes to certain things, you can't be a jack of all trades. So,
Tell me, Karabo, as a recruiter, as someone who goes through multiple CVs every single day, for me, it becomes such a hard task to be able to put every single thing about yourself on paper, especially if it's the best of yourself. How can people make sure that they're able to do this effectively, to put down their education, their experience, the things they love, the things they enjoy doing, and yet are still able to make a CV unique, attractive to recruiters, to potential employers? How does one go about doing that? What do you look for?
Thanks, Alan. So as recruiters, right, there's a common mistake that a lot of candidates like to make, or potential job seekers, if I may say, right? So sometimes what happens is, what candidates do is, they tend to attach cover letters. Of course, we do understand that in certain instances that people are looking for jobs, and should I say they are very desperate at that moment. But as a recruiter, we hardly have time to read through those. That's common mistake number one. Number two, they tend to put on, let me just say, they tend to attach also their images or like their personal images on their CVs. And obviously, when it comes to certain industries, of course, they might your images might be needed on the CV, but in certain instances, it's very unnecessary.
Having images within CVs has always been something that's been very fascinating for me, especially, when we're in the office together. And I can see that, so many of these CVs have pictures on them. It's always it's very fascinating to me. And I understand why people do it, but I also understand the reason not to do it. Right. And, this goes back into so many elements in regarding, senses of discrimination, or sometimes someone won't be hired because of how they look or how their hair is or, what eye color they have and so on. So I understand this. So we have a couple of submissions from other members of our team that have also presented their CVX and what they don't want, but also, most importantly, what they do want, because we know that what they do want is what will be able to help you propel your CV, help you propel your career. So starting with our first submission, and I have a very, very interesting list in front of me, and you guys can get involved. comment down in the comment section what you guys think. Do you agree with some of these? Do you disagree with them? What else can we add into the conversation? Who knows? We might have a part 2. So the first thing that I've got here in front of me, in terms of icks, so if you're a little older, ick is basically basically something that is undesirable, right? The first one we have is high school marks and the high school achievements. I find this so funny because I was guilty of this as well. You would have all of my awards all the way from grade 1 until Form 6. I think it's grade 11 here, grade 12. Yeah, all the way, to grade 12, all of the achievements that you got, that participation trophy that you got when you swam that one day on Wednesday when Jessica couldn't make it. Obviously, no one wants to see these things. We're all very proud of these achievements that we have throughout our childhood, but sometimes you kind of have to let them go. Sometimes it's about leaving that trophy or that medal on the counter and keeping it to yourself. Karaba, what do you think about that one?
No, Alan, I get your point. I hear you. Well, when it comes to high school marks and achievements, well, that is true. So, come on. I mean, as a recruiter, I don't really think we have time to look at your high school marks. It doesn't really matter. And even your potential employers, then they might not even, take that really into consideration unless if maybe they were probably in your high school previously, because I know it does come to situations whereby certain employers might just be, might consider hiring you just because you guys maybe went to the same high school or whatever. But in most cases, it doesn't really matter, right?
So you're telling me that my acting trophy from grade 5 doesn't matter to you, Karabo. That's hurtful. So our next one is, this one is so funny. Star signs and personalities. A lot of people, I guess if you're in the tourism, hospitality, service industry, I guess why, I think I understand the appeal to putting stuff like that. But for the rest of us, the majority of us, I don't think that really matters. So maybe leave the star signs out. Maybe leave the horoscopes out. Maybe leave the personality type out. I know that you might think that this is absolutely essential, that people understand that you're an ENTJ, but not really as much as you think. Karaba, what are your thoughts on star signs and personalities on CVs?
Well, then, to be quite honest with you, I really have not seen any star. I've really not seen any star signs on any of the CVs that I've came across. But no, man. To be quite honest with you, it doesn't really matter to us. It really doesn't matter to us. And it might sound a bit insensitive, but to be quite honest, as I said, it really does not matter to us.
So let's go on to some more, should I say, less obvious ones. So obviously things like pictures, things like high school marks and achievements, things like star signs, personality types, are obviously things that, the large majority of people do not include. Like you said, you've never seen someone with star signs. But let's get on to the more non-obvious stuff. So we have another submission here that says, cover letters that are much too long. I absolutely agree. If you're going to write a cover letter, make sure that it's for the purpose of the job. A lot of people will have a basic cover letter that they'll use for every single job. But that's not what cover letters are about. That's not what they're intended to be. A cover letter is a letter to the employer, to the recruiter, on why you're the perfect fit for this specific job. Mention the responsibilities, mention the duties that you'll be expected to do, and tell them, look, this is why I'm the right fit. Imagine going on a date with someone, all right? And, bringing personality types. You have people who are all sorts of different personalities, and you take them to the exact same place. Doesn't matter what their love language is. It doesn't matter what they want in a partner. You take them to the exact same place every single time. It's just not how it works. You need to be attractive based on what the other person wants. And the same goes for employment. Now, let's go on to your other one. And I'll ask Karaba to chime in on those ones. So not providing the full contact information, both email and contact number. I won't lie, but I've been guilty of this as well. After you've, rounded up your incredible CV with all of your achievements and all of your academic history and experience, you don't put your email there. And I guess when you're using platforms like LinkedIn or Ditto or Indeed, you'd think that people will get the information from your profile on there, but it's a much more complicated process in which sometimes those profiles are lost, or recruiters don't have the time or the energy to go back, to that LinkedIn profile. Karaba, what are your thoughts on this?
So yes, Alan. So when it comes to cover letters, right? For this one, I think I'll vouch for some of the candidates that tend to apply on a daily basis and come across, maybe 1,000 job posts that maybe they want to apply for. So sometimes what they tend to do is they take cover letters from the net, and let me just say they take cover letter formats from the internet and just edit it and then just make a few changes to it here and there. Of which I don't really blame them, but as Alan said, in certain instances you do have to be original, and what you have to do is you have to structure your cover letter in the sense that it applies to that certain job that you're applying for, right? Because you can't just take different formats from the internet and expect to use it for all of the jobs that you're applying for. So you listeners at home and people that are applying for jobs, please do not use the same cover letter formats for every single job that you're applying for, right?
And I think I understand what you're saying, Karaba. I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't thought about the people who are going through thousands of job postings every single day and having to create a new CV every single time. Sounds like a hassle. So let's talk about the things that do help your career. Let's talk about things that do help your CV. Let's talk about what helps your CV become more attractive for the job market, for employers, for recruiters. The submission that I have here is a straight, broken down list, and the list is as follows: your name, your nationality, your race, gender, age, education, qualification and certification, availability, current salary, and expected salary. Now, I know that some of these might seem a little too in the TMI zone, too much information zone. But this information does help recruiters and also the employer understand exactly what you expect in terms of salary, in terms of nationality, in terms of education, and in terms of availability. And these are things that aren't regularly put in CVs. I haven't run into CVs that have an availability in it. I haven't run into CVs that have a current salary or an expected salary. And I think that this would be something that, is extremely important. I mean, people get jobs because of the money. People get jobs because they don't have a job or they want to leave their job, and people have notice periods. And informing the recruiter of that notice period, informing the recruiter of all of these other elements that are relevant, that are necessary, are absolutely important. I'm going to give the forum to Karaba. And Karaba goes through many more CVs than I do. I think I've only gone through my own CV. But I do get a feel of what it's like around the office when I have conversations with members of the team. Karabo, what in your mind is the perfect CV? We've come to that part of the podcast in which, it's all business now. No jokes, no hassles, no problems. Just how to make things better. What do you look for? What's the perfect CV? What brightens up your day? What brightens up your mood? And what brightens up clients' moods? What brightens up employers' moods? What makes them happy? And what kind of CVs do you see that have the most successful engagement rate, the most successful, most successful employment rate as well? Karabo?
So yeah, Alan, when it comes to CVs making us happy as recruiters, we like things that are very simple, But okay, yeah, let me just delve into it and just mention one of the most critical things that make us happy or very pleased, if I may say, right? So number one, a CV, we prefer a CV to be in PDF format, because I'm sure you, even as a candidate, you wouldn't want your CV to be tailored, in a sense that, certain recruiters can adjust it the way they want to and include unnecessary things that you wouldn't want them to, change on your CV. That's number one. Okay, one thing most candidates look down on is putting down the type of industry that their company was previously in, right? So for example, let's say maybe previously you're working for a company that was in the agricultural sector. I think it is very important to actually note that down on your CV and just classify that, maybe just near the company name, just putting in the type of industry that your company was in previously. And then also you can also add a hyperlink that show that the hyperlink to the company that you previously worked for, so that the potential employers or recruiters can look at in case they just want to verify whether the company is actually legit and so forth. And then also you can also put in your professional memberships. For instance, maybe I know for like HR people, maybe let's say you have a professional SABBP membership. You can also just clarify that on your CV. Same goes for like your chartered accountant. Just putting on your CASA membership number or so forth. So yeah, those are one of the things that we actually do look for, and it is very important to actually put them down in your CV so that we can see that you are someone that actually is serious about looking or about finding a serious job. So yeah, no, that is one of the few.
Perfect. Thank you so much for all of these top tips, especially from you, especially from I know a man who goes through so many CVs, who has dedicated a large part of his life into creating opportunities for bridging the unemployment gap in South Africa. And that's what we do here at Jello Corp. Well, it is one of our many organs here at Jello Corp. And we are so excited, so happy to have you listen to one of the projects and one of the little things that we do here that could benefit your life. Because that's what we're dedicated to doing here, to making sure that you find a new employment home, as corny as that sounds. Thanks so much. Hopefully we'll catch you in a week or two with another exciting guest, with another exciting topic. If you have any questions, feel free to email us. Feel free to message us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram. Give us topics, give us comments, tell us what you think. And that is me from Alan. Karaba, any last words?
To the enjoyers at home, thank you for taking the time to listen to this, and yeah, hopefully meet again.
Cheers.